Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob, and this is a pretty exciting video for me personally because it's about the event I'm going to be attending next week in the United States of America. The event is called the Age of Sigmar Masters, or the North American Masters. This follows in a similar tradition to other events that you see around different countries where they get a bunch of really high-end Age of Sigmar competitive players together. They try to work out which one's the best. This event has a slight twist to it, however, in that it takes the form of a team event. It's organized by the wicked Dicey crew, who also run massive events like Everwinter. I was lucky to catch up with Miles, and he was able to tell me everything about the event, as well as also do the pairings for the first round.
I wrote in big letters that the origin story of this event was born out of wine.
But I wanted to make this kind of smaller, shorter, condensed video specifically for you as Age of Sigmar fans watching this video. Many of you will know that I went to the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships in the summer. It's the third time I've live streamed that event, and I personally think that team format Warhammer is easily the best form of Warhammer. I think it's also really good, especially to get different communities pitted against each other in a very formal but also very friendly atmosphere. And the team rivalry that I've seen happen at the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships has been incredible. And I do think that this is something that America really needs. If you've ever watched the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, you'll see that I will always go through the event results over the weekend, and a ton of events happen in the United States. You have really big tentpole events like the LVO and Adepticon, but you also have loads of little small events that happen very regularly, like events at places such as Grognard Games, or the events that happen in Texas, or the events happen in the East Coast and the West Coast, and even wherever the hell the Midwest is.
We're hosting the North American Masters in Boston this year, and it's the first time ever that we've hosted it, and we've talked about this for all of the 3 years at least, and probably 5 years. So yeah, we're excited about it. Heavily inspired off of events that you were quite a part of, and it basically kind of runs the idea that we have a lot of highly competitive players in North America, and we love team events, and we love that format. But there's not been a unifying body that says, like, hey, let's grab all the regions, because as you know, the United States is a very large and squirrely place. It's quite large, and so we divided everybody into a region, and we identified a captain in each region, and they choose their dream team of 8 players.
But America has a unique problem, as all the whole of North America has a unique problem, which only really Australia has when we talk about the Age of Sigmar community. While it has a really big player base, it doesn't necessarily have a very cohesive player base because they're so separated by distance. Australia has the same problem as well, and that's why they have a big tentpole event like CanCon and the big team event that they have up in Queensland. So I'm making this video to get you hype about this event because I'm going to be streaming the event, which I think is cool, but also I think it's a really good thing for the Age of Sigmar community in the USA. The USA has a great opportunity to create regional areas to build a more grassroots style organization to get more people playing at their local level and into state championships, and then eventually into these national championships. And then when you eventually get your national team together, which they already have, but formalizing that process will also be able to help with playing on the international stage. Personally, I actually think that that's an insane undertaking, and that's why I'm making this video and why I'm hoping you're going to get on board with it and get excited. Watch the live stream because a bunch of reasons I'm going to talk about in a minute, but also the idea that building something that massive in the nation is going to be very, very cool to do.
This year, though, we've got a wicked dicey spin on it that's really important for us, the host, because we just like to do things kind of irrationally. And delinquently is kind of our whenever I do like brand things, I'm like, make it more irreverent. And so this year, for example, like we're going to have a DJ on Friday night, one of our local players, he loves to play. And we're just like, why don't you show up and like provide some vibes and like, let's have some fun. And then we're also having bowling on Saturday night. So that's important. North American Masters brings together everybody from Canada, everybody in the US, and hopefully eventually Mexico and South America. We're trying to drum up teams there as well, to eventually be like on the competitive map for these large team events that we're really stoked about.
So let's quickly talk about the event. The event is going to have 64 players. Those players are going to be playing across 6 different teams, and each team is going to have 8 players inside of it. This pretty much follows standard team format that you see the world over. It's pretty good for America as well, as this is a fairly large paradigm shift from some of the other events that we've seen, like 4 and 5 person event. And it really keeps it in line with what we're seeing happen in Europe, like at the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships, or even things like the Six Nations event, which is happening very soon, which encompasses England, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and Sweden. There's also a bunch of team events that happen in Spain, Italy, France, Germany, and all across Europe. So this is really bringing America into that kind of connective tissue of what the Age of Sigmar community really do across the world. And I think that's really good. So Wicked Dicey crew should be really proud of themselves, as well as all the other TOs that have committed to helping make this be a thing.
Yeah, so this is going to be an annual event. And in theory, we're going to, skip it around the country. And so at some points, the Southwest will host it. At some points, the Southeast will host it. And it's just an annual kind of way to get everyone together and to kind of like raise the crown of who has the top regional players. Right now, we've been kind of like suspicious, and we've thought like, hey, Texas has a lot of heat down there, and they've got quite a lot of players, Gavin, Tom, Guan, and I will show you the list in a second, but like it's never been proven out. And I think there's just so many amazing competitors across the country. And so this is, not only does it serve as a way of practice for Worlds so that we can just ultimately, get better and more talented at that. It also just serves as a launch point for everyone to meet and like be human and like find new friends that are all, super passionate about the same thing.
If you go on the website, aosmasters.com, you can see that the community has divided North America into 8 distinct regions. Miles did tell me that the plan in the future was to have an entire structure for people to be able to commit to these regions and support them in future events in the following years. And each of the regions has got some pretty big Age of Sigmar names competing for them to take it out for their region. Azir represents Canada and has got several members from the Season of War team on their staff, but not Baal because he sucks. Ulgu represents the Southeast and has got some incredible players, including players such as Joanna Singh, a former LVO champion, Mike Maccabee with already several GTs under his belt this season, and Jacob Berry as their media correspondent. Garan is represented by the Northeast, and their team captain is a judge at the Age of Sigmar World Championships, Madigan Mason. With several gaming luminaries such as Basil Inferrara and Dylan Thoreau, it's also got international players like Roger Barker and Anthony Trentinelli for Team USA and Owen Jackson for Team Wales. Actually is represented by Texas, and the team captain is one of the most successful players in Age of Sigmar ever, Gavin Grieger, and then a rock star crew including Chris Schelling, Tom Guan, and Jeremy Lefebvre, as well as Matt Robish. Representing Sheesh is the Midwest team in their blue jeans, led by the excellent Michael Rausch as the captain, Adepticon event organizer Nick True, Honest Wargamer infield reporters both Barton Kennelly and Joe Cryer, hoping to prove the Midwest is not just a narrative section of the country. Representing Gur for the Southwest, Chris Hernandez is the captain, with internet sensations Elias Newbaum, Greg Brewer, Kyle Callett making up some of the players of this amazing team. Representing Heesh is the Mid-Atlantic, their captain being one of the event organizers for Nova and an excellent person in James O'Brien. And then a list of superstars like Mike Vaginus, Fabian Barboos, Leo Ratunen of Team Finland, Nicholas Walters, the famous Ryan Brine from the Team United Nations. And lastly, representing Shimon is the Pacific Northwest team, with Matt Beasley leading the charge, everyone's favorite Meat King Carson Whitlock, and all-round solid Warhammer player Matthias Crucial. I'm going to put a link to all the lists down below so you can go check them out. They'll also be available on wickeddicey.com. And I'll be doing a list review before the event so you can get all hype and excited. But please let me know which team you are supporting right now. as well as being a competitive event. I think one of the things that Miles and the rest of the Wicked Dicey crew want to have happen is they want to make this a social gathering of some of the better players in the country to formulate this grassroots network. He told me about some of it. Let's listen in now.
Right now, and we've said this in a lot of our text and press releases, if you call them that, that like, this year we identified particular captains or organizational bodies that we thought just knew their region very well. And so like, I'm gonna miss some names here, but like Matt Beasley in the Pacific Northwest is a very like well-known figure in that area. And we were like, Matt, can you make a team of 8 that you're super proud of? And I actually, just to shout out really quick, they even have their own version of like a regional competition that they run where they all fight for crown and glory and things like that. And so basically this year we have identified heads of state. And then, as we iron out the details, we want the process to be as rigorous as possible. And as, not leaving anybody out. We want to be like very like inclusive of like anybody who has the talent and the skill and the wherewithal to like really compete at a really high level. We want to like iron out those processes because the spirit of this competition is like as highly competitive as possible. Like, this year has a Wicked Dicey spin on it. So it's got some silliness to it. It's got the disc golf and it's got bowling and it's just got, hey, let's all be friends, kind of flavor to it. But at the same time, like the games are very serious.
You'll be able to follow along with the event on the Honest Wargamer Twitch on the 5th and 6th of October. But the thing I'd like you to do, if you're fans of the show or anything like that, I'd like you to support events like this. I love the idea of people putting, their hearts and souls on the line and organizing these really big events and really starting to build something. And it does feel like, knowing the crew that are organizing this and the people attending, it does feel like it's the start of something really special for the North American community. And I'm super excited to have been invited over to help cover that for the rest of the world, because I think it's really nice to see those start to happen. And in the future, when we see it be absolutely massive, which I really think it will be, it'll be cool to see that as well. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. Let me know what you think and if you're excited to tune in. And hopefully I'll bring you some really solid coverage and you'll enjoy it. Thank you to the Wicked Dicey crew and thank you to everyone in the USA, because it's super exciting to be part of their community and I'm really excited to go hang out.